or unit 2 and unit 1, right? There are few provisions, okay, like general provisions we have both for unit 1 and unit 2. We'll see 3 of those concepts. All right, one is from unit 1 we have like a provision, condition precedent and subsequent. When you are imposing a condition that this needs to be fulfilled, you may either say that you fulfill the condition first, after that transfer will happen, or you may say that, okay, fine, I'm transferring it, but later on you will have to fulfill the condition. Okay, so there is something with regard to like condition, you may fulfill it before, or it may be that, okay, it's fine even if you are doing it at a later stage. That is one topic from unit 1. From unit 2, we have 2 more concepts, that is priority of rights. Who got the right first? Okay, priority as in first, like we say, right, first come first serve basis. We have limited number of seats available, first come first serve. Whoever is coming first, they will be getting the seat. Whoever is late, for them it might be like house full or something like that. Okay, same applies here also, priority of rights. Then we have one more concept, rent paid to holder under defective title, which is somewhat similar to improvements made by bona fide holder. In good faith, without any bad intention, you held the property, you genuinely thought it's yours, you did some improvements. So what will happen to those improvements? That is improvements made by bona fide holder. But in this case, what is happening is rent paid to holder under defective title. The holder or the landlord, that person was having defective title. His title was not proper. He was not entitled to claim rent, but even if rent was paid to him. So what will happen in such cases? Okay, we have got 3 different provisions regarding it. So first thing that we have is regarding the condition. So we know that transfers may be conditional also. There may be some condition that if this happens, this transfer will take place, like vested and contingent interest we have, right? It may be that, okay, this property will get transferred after my death. So death is certain, that would be vested interest. Or it might be that this property will get transferred if you secure 90% marks in your boards. So there might be some conditions, but now when is it that we need to fulfill the condition? Is it before they transfer or is it after they transfer? So there are 2 different provisions given under Transfer of Property Act, section 26 and 29. All right, so 26 and 29, that basically mentions with regard to condition precedent and condition subsequent. When is it that we need to fulfill or satisfy the condition which relates to that specific transfer? Now, if you look at the bare rectum, okay, so I told you, right, that chapter 2 is having some general provisions. Some of these are relating to transfer of property by act of parties. So these are with regard to act of parties, but some of these relate to transfer of property, whether movable or immovable. That means irrespective of nature of the property, these provisions will be applicable, like transfer for benefit of unborn child, oral transfer, then conditions with regard to restrictions on alienation, vested interest, contingent interest. Similarly, these 2 provisions with regard to conditions also apply both for movable or immovable property. There is no restriction as such. Okay, so until these provisions, right, 37, these apply both for movable and immovable, but this remaining provisions that we were discussing in the previous classes, those are from this part B of chapter 2, which talks about only transfer of immovable property. So those provisions like transfer by ostensible owner, co-owner, bona fide holder, all those things would only be applicable with regard to immovable property. Okay, so what we are going to discuss today, that falls under the part 1, that is it's applicable for both the two types of properties. There is no restriction as such based on what property it is. But now what is condition precedent and what is condition subsequent? Condition precedent, we know precedent as in before you need to fulfill it, condition subsequent as in later on, subsequently you can fulfill it. So section 26 provides for fulfillment of condition precedent. After getting the thing also, you can basically fulfill the condition. And in this case, fulfillment of condition subsequent, you can fulfill the condition at a later stage also. So these are the two provisions. When the terms of a transfer of property imposes a condition to be fulfilled before a person can take interest in the property, the condition shall be deemed to have been substantially complied with. Okay, so before getting the property precedent, before getting the property, he needs to fulfill the condition. But in case of subsequent, the ulterior disposition of the kind contemplated. So it may be that, okay, fine, I am transferring the property to you now, but you have got maybe 1 year of time, 2 years of time, or 5 years of time to fulfill this condition. If you do not do, then might be the property would revert back or go to someone else. For example, A transfers 500 rupees to B to be paid to him on his attaining his majority or marrying, with a proviso that if B dies as a minor or marries without C's consent, the 500 shall go to D. B marries when only 17 years of age without C's consent. The transfer to D takes effect. So with regard to subsequent, what happens is, if this person marries, right, to be paid to him on his attaining majority or marrying, but with a proviso that if he dies before as a minor or marries without consent of C, then the 500 shall go back to D. B marries only when he was only 17 years of age without consent. The transfer to D takes effect. So what is happening here, right? See, this case we will understand. With the help of this example, we will understand. Have you come across this concept called interpretation of statute? There is one subject called interpretation of statute. Are you aware of that?
I don't know specifically about the subject, but in general, I know.
Yeah, you know, right? That whatever is the law, basically there are some rules that are being followed to interpret it. It's not like whatever I understand, I would interpret it accordingly. There are different rules based on the situation. Whatever rule fits well, that rule will be applied. There are different rules like golden rule of interpretation, literal rule of interpretation. Different types of rules are there based on the situation. Based on the situation, whichever rule fits well, that will be applied so that the statute can provide justice in the case. It's not like this statute is meaningless. Statute is there, provision is there, but it's meaningless. That should not happen. So that is the main purpose of these statutes, interpretation of statute. Now there are two provisions with regard to interpretation of statute also here. Regarding condition precedent that we need to fulfill previously before transfer may take place, here literal interpretation is being followed. Okay, so liberal interpretation is being followed. So liberal as in we are not like that much restricted also. We are not like following word by word, but okay, fine, we are a little bit liberal. Even if you are doing like we say, right, even if you are writing something, you will get some marks. This person is checking liberally. That means even if you are doing, it would be like considered, right? Same thing happens here also, that liberal interpretation is being followed in case of condition precedent. Substantial fulfillment is also valid. That means if the condition was this big, you had fulfilled this much, that also would be considered that, okay, fine, you have fulfilled the condition, so transfer will remain with you. That means they are a little bit liberal in terms of fulfillment of condition. Why? Because property or the what movable or immovable property or object is already being transferred. So they will be like, okay, fine, you have done substantial part of the condition, so it's fine, you can keep the property with you. All right. So take for example, in one case, a person says that, okay, I have this property, I will transfer this property to you. Okay, this person, I will transfer my property to you only on a condition that if you marry with consent of A, B, and C. So it is condition precedent. You need to get married with consent of A, B, and C. After that only I will transfer my property, or I will transfer some amount of money also, it may be. As given under the Barrett, it was like some 500 rupees I will transfer to you if you marry with consent of A, B, and C. Now, in this case, A decided to get married to this woman. Now, what happens is he obtained consent of A also, B also, but C died. Before he could obtain consent of C, C died. Now, in such a case, it's not possible for this person to take consent from C, right? Because C already died. But if this was the condition, he has substantially fulfilled it, right? Out of 3 persons, he already obtained permission from 2 persons. So in such a case, when it was condition precedent, you need to fulfill the condition first, and after that it will happen. Liberal interpretation is being followed, and it will be said that, okay, fine, even if you have obtained A and B's consent, fine, property will go to you only. All right, so that is section 26, condition precedent, wherein person needs to fulfill the condition. After that only transfer will take place. Here liberal interpretation is being applied. Even if substantial part of the condition is being fulfilled, still it would be considered as a valid fulfillment, and property will accordingly be transferred to the person. Okay, next we have a section 29, which talks about condition subsequent. Condition transfer will happen. Later stage, you need to fulfill the condition. So these things are otherwise also common, right? For sale, we have seen you may either accept the whole amount, or there may be just a promise that I will be paying you the amount, but and when I make the payment, you get the sale registered, but otherwise now you transfer possession. So those also we can see that possession is being given, but then at a later stage, you need to make the payment, property will be getting registered. But if this person fails to make the payment within the given duration, owner may say that, no, I can't wait that much, so I'm getting this property transferred to someone else. I'm not registering this property in your name, rather I'm getting it transferred to someone else. That may also happen, right? So those are conditions subsequent. Property is getting transferred, the object or whatever is the thing concerned that already got transferred, but there is a condition which is condition subsequent. Even if it is getting transferred, you have this condition that you need to fulfill subsequently. Otherwise, transfer may revert to the original owner, or it may go to someone else also. Okay. For example, the same person said that, okay, I have this property with me. What I can do is I can transfer this property to you. All right, I'm transferring this property to you, but there is one condition subsequent, that even if I'm transferring the property to you now, there is one condition that you subsequently need to fulfill in order to retain possession of this property. What is the condition? That within 1 year from the date of getting possession, within 1 year, you need to go for a trip abroad. All right, that was the condition, that you need to go on a trip. Wherever you want to go, you go, but you need to go on a trip abroad, that is within 1 year from date of getting possession of the property. And if you fail to do that, what will happen is property will either come back to me or it may go back, like whatever is the condition she wants to put. She may say that if you do not fulfill that condition, this property will go back to this, go to this person. All right, rather than you, this property will go to this person after 1 year if you are not fulfilling this condition subsequent. Here what happens is strict interpretation is being followed. Otherwise, it will not be valid fulfillment. Even if this person had gone to so many places in India, so many trips, even in such a case, it will not be included. Why? Because this person failed to go for a trip abroad. Or even if this person goes after 1 month or something, it would not be valid. Why? Because strict interpretation is being followed. Whatever is being said word by word, you need to follow completely. You need to follow. It's not like just one part is being followed and then the person is asking to retain the property. Those would not apply basically. Okay, so that is basically about section 26 and 29, condition precedent and condition subsequent. Is this part clear?
Yeah, understood. Very clear.
So these two concepts are like related, right? You cannot just read one part of it. You need to know both sides. I don't know why, but in the syllabus, they have just given one part. Okay, like condition subsequent only they have given. But you can anyways know both the two things, right? Because it's related. Section 26 and 29, condition precedent, liberal interpretation. It's okay even if you are fulfilling substantial part of it. Condition subsequent, strict interpretation, you need to do as mentioned in the condition. And these are the two provisions from the direct, right? Like the direct provisions. That's fine.